It is 2024. You know what else has those numbers on them? That's right, dice. You know what has dice in it? A tradition passed down for 4 episodes, where powerful math rocks create the ultimate creatures, and the tradition has been dubbed Roll for Pokémon. Welcome back to Roll for Pokémon. Here's a quick little summary of the rules for all the new people. Don't forget to comment below what you get if you played along, as well as comment ideas for creatures and wild magic types for the next video. Today I'll be using these pretty standard blue dice, because they feel magical, powerful, delicious. But before I devour them, let's get to rolling. First we use our d4 to determine how many stages, and we got a 2, so a 2-stage Pokemon. Next our d20 to determine what our Pokemon takes the form of. And we got, a 16, a Snow Leopard. Move over, Qianpao. And another d20 to determine our typing. If Ice type, this will be easy. And our first roll is a 6, which is a Psychic type. And our second roll is an 18, so a Dragon type, a Psychic Dragon Snow Leopard. This will be interesting. Next, time to roll a d8 to see which stat will be its highest, a good way to form a plan for the Pokemon's body. And we rolled a 1, so HP, a thick boy. And finally, one last d20 for some wild magic to really throw things around. And we rolled a 2, well dang, bipedal. There goes my idea to make a Fu Lion like Mon. Alright, let's get our Incineroar on the road. In this Pokemon, Dragon is a state of mind, like how Arcanine is the legendary Pokemon. We're simply going to make this thing a powerful, I guess like a dragon, maybe with some more draconic features, such as a jagged maw and maybe ragged fur. I wanted the first stage to be a little bit cuter, maybe a little like Riolu or Lucario kind of stage, and then the second stage go more into that bulky, more aggressive stance. The difficulty was the Psychic type and how to introduce it here, so I thought more like some kind of monk like Chi or Aura sort of thing. He's going to do that weird Doctor Strange thing to your Pikachu and send it into the astral plane. Its name Lactose is a combination of leopard and Colchedra, which is a sort of dragon-like creature in Albanian mythology. I love snow leopards, they got them big fluffy tails, so I wanted to make sure I kept it in the actual design itself as well. While not a real big, I guess, excuse to the dragon type, but I added in all the little leopard spots in that sort of dragon type color hue that it uses. I mean, you go Google leopard dragons and watch the results, as it's all just people's own personas. Lactose, the Spirit Cat Pokemon, a Psychic and Dragon type. Lactose live up in cold mountainous areas where they spend their days training their mind and body to increase the limits of their psychic powers. The pads of their paws emanate energy from them, making punches from Lactose shred the enemy's spirit, causing the foe to experience sadness and an empty, hollow feeling, and even giving up on the battle. Lactose also are employed to help with people who are feeling negative emotions, as they are able to assist in the repairing of broken spirits, as well as being a big soft creature in which to hug for emotional support. Lactose have the abilities Scrappy and Justified. For its Evo Leodora, a combo of Leopard and Doragon, the literal interpretation of dragon in katakana, I wanted that HP to be apparent in this form so that the top half is thick. The arms would still be big and dangerous, but is no longer stiff. I gave it this big old chompy underbite really play up that is all ogreish and draconic as well. Remember, dragon state of mind. I gave it some cool wispy energy psychic eyebrows, mainly the whole idea of this was to make it look as vicious and kind of confronting as possible. It ditches the whole I'm a monk and more goes just for the I'm a big snow dragon rawr sort of thing, ditching the psychic paw pads with instead some big slashing claws. This final form really does have that Incineroar sort of energy, where maybe it looks scary but does have some really big goofball power to it as well. This whole experience made me appreciate snow leopards a lot more though. Leodora, the Dragon Cat Pokemon, a Psychic and Dragon type. Leodora evolves from Lactose after defeating foes with Psychic-type moves 50 times. Leodora is a large shift from its pre-evolved form. While Lactose are a caring Pokemon with a certain violent streak, Leodora is a violent Pokemon with a soft spot for their trainer. It enhances the rending power of their claws with psychic energy through the gems on their hands, which gain power through the rage Leodora feel, making frustrating battles for a Leodora become increasingly dangerous for their foes. Despite it all, Leodora is still fluffy and used for emotional support. Leodora has the ability Intimidate and Justified. Okay, round 2. Let's roll that d4, and we got a 1, so a single stage Pokemon. And for our creature roll, we got a 12. Ooh, so a big old spooky, or maybe not spooky, demon. For our type roll, we rolled a 19, a rare roll, so it's going to be a single typing. And for the actual type, we rolled a 14, so a pure water type. Alright, water demon it is. For primary stat, we rolled a 3, so a defensive mon. And for wild magic, we rolled a 10, so it ain't got no legs. Interesting rolls for this one. So let's make our defensive legless water demon.
Wow. Pure wow.
I wanted to get a more feminine shape for this one. Kind of be a water type foil to that of our other, I think, potentially legless queen Enamorous. My main inspos for these were water nymphs as well as Jin, with that idea of them kind of smoke forming from the lamp, minus the lamp of course. Honestly, this one turned out probably a bit more legendary looking than it should have been, but ah well. Originally it looked like it was wearing almost a kimono down below, well the eye chest there, but I do end up shifting it up a bit to fit a bit more of a PG view of the creature. I wanted this whole thing to feel almost like some kind of myth in the Pokemon world, a sort of water spirit that could take on the form of whatever it wanted through mirages, and kind of grant wishes maybe, and just have a very genie sort of vibe without stepping too hard on the pre-established genies, and still keeping its water demon origins as well. Although I don't think a genie or Jin is exactly a water demon, I think it fits pretty well for this one. Illusion, the water demon Pokemon, a water type. In ancient times, illusion was said to appear when you wished upon special lamps, and would give you 3 wishes. In reality, illusion is able to compress their body down and just love to live within these small confines for safety. Their bodies have a very similar makeup to water and will even shift and morph depending on the temperature. They can even take on the shape of humans to try and coerce their target into lowering their guard. Despite being quite the tricky Pokemon, it is still quite kind, helping those that are in desperate straits enough to wish upon their lamp homes. Illusion have the abilities Levitate and Clear Body. Alright, let's roll, and another 2-stager. Alright. For our creature roll, we got a 4. So it's going to be part of the Xmen? Yeah. For our typing, we rolled a 16. For rock type. And we rolled another 16. Okay, wow. So pure rock type. That's really weird. Primary stats, we rolled a 5, so special defense. Finally, some wild magic, and we rolled a 19, so it's going to have a long tail. Yeah, alright, let's see where this can go. My idea for this one would be a Route 1 sort of feeling Pokemon. Sort of more leaning towards a Poochyena or Nickit. The first stage would just be this little sort of guy, a more cuter side to the Wolverine, that hides inside of a burrow Diglett style, but above ground it has a mountain look to it. It would almost run around like a turtle in this form. I wanted the tail to have a similar vibe to Nicket's in the first form to help both with the silhouette, but it would use it also to block up the holes in its burrow when it goes all turtle and hides within. It's not the most out there design, but I can see it waddling about, then opening up its mouth just have rows upon rows of super sharp needle teeth, and becoming instantly aggressive. One of those mods would probably fall prey to being ground rock type in the game if Game Freak had the chance to. Hermarine, the hermit Pokemon, a rock type. Hermarine create mounds of rock and mud to create their own little portable burrows. The strength of these burrows are made to withstand even the most violent of weather conditions. When frightened, Hermarine zip back into their homes and will use their large tail to block up the entrances, and hope that they don't get seen for more than just a regular rock. A cornered Hermarine is something to be feared, as that's when its truly violent nature comes to light. Sharp teeth lining their mouth as well as rending claws are thrown about wildly, trying to cleave the foe in two. Hermarine have the abilities Sturdy and Shell Armor. I could have kept the whole turtleoid aesthetic going with its evolution Violet, but the long tail really was what I wanted to keep an aspect for and push it slightly more weaselly, while still keeping a bit of Wolverine in it. The tail is now most of the body, and that mountainous burrow now becomes like a little Yoshi saddle on top for absolutely no one to ride because this thing takes a full-on spin on its nature. No longer shying away, and instead it's all angry all the time. No happiness for this noodle of carnage. Originally it was going to make it spikier, but I didn't like the way it looked, almost looking like it was a counterpart to Donphan, but a wheel of jagged pain instead. It's got a bit of yokai in it, especially the swirly dust tail, but I think that works in service of it. I don't know, would I hug it? Yeah, maybe losing a few fingers is a good price to pay for Violet. Violet, the Rip and Tear Pokemon, a rock type. Evolves from Hermarine after taking down 15 foes at under 25% HP. A confident Hermarine evolves into Violet, no longer scared of everything, it is instead feared by all, becoming a menace to the environment around it. The remnant of the burrow they made as a Hermarine merely stands as armor for Violet. They care not for fair play and will use their fluffy tails to whip up violent dust storms to blind their prey, and then jump straight for vital points with razor-sharp teeth. Violet are famously known for their soft fur if brave enough to pet. Violet have the abilities Sharpness and Strong Jaw. Alright, let's get rolling. For our next roll we got a 2. Another 2-stager. For our creature type we rolled a 9. Whoa, time to go a star because we got us a Roo. Typing we've got a 6, so a Psychic type Kangaroo. And for the second typing we've got a Force or Fighting type. Got the Medicham typing going. Next to our primary stats we got a 6, so a Speedy Roo. And for Wild Magic we rolled, a nat 20. So I actually get to pick whichever choice here I want, so I think I'm gonna choose the Nat 1 option and go for a Fossilmon. So I streamed both of these guys on here as one of my first streams, kind of. It was super fun and also the reason why cheese is such a meme on the channel. I admit I did slightly forget I was going for a Fossilmon here, but it's very close to the Megafauna kangaroos, Procoptodon Goliath, which is where both of these two got their names. I wanted this almost Steven Universe-like kangaroo that could create psychic constructs to fight with. In their first form, little bubbles around their hands to help protect their soft boxing glove-looking hands. It would have slightly rubbery limbs so it could launch out slightly at range punches, but also bounce around with a large tail, at least till it evolves. This is truly a very Australian Pokemon, a Roo that loves to fight, just perfect. Procopow, the bot Pokemon. A psychic and fighting type. Procopow is created from the Stony Fist fossil. Procopow lived in areas of harsh desert and are said to have gone extinct due to their own rowdy ways of fighting, trying to constantly one-up bigger opponents. Their fists are able to project a bubble of psychic energy that is incredibly solid to protect Procopow's weak body. These bubbles can also be fired out at range but fizzle out once too far away from Pokepow. Their tail can be bunched up to swiftly launch themselves at foes, with little regard for safety of either party, leading to a very dizzy and confused Pokepow. Pokepow have the abilities Iron Fist. Golurbox is more or less safe, creating a helmet to protect those brain meats of theirs, but at the same time their eyes are going to have the spinder swirly pads from all the damage they've taken, which I guess subsequently unlocks psychic powers? In Pokemon it seems head trauma is the best way to get abilities. Hold up, let me just go bonk my Spinder on the head a few more times till it gets psychic type. This evolution has a smaller tail that it keeps bunched up for emergencies, and relies more on its strong legs, as you'll notice it doesn't have the big feet the Prevo has, which fits a bit more with the actual Goliath itself. Something about Golurbox's head and ears make me happy. It's just a fun little shape. And yes, those are a combination pouch and pants, as if you'd want to put a Pokepow in there, poor thing would be rattled around. Unless that's what they want. Maybe that's how they get the Psychic type. Surprisingly, the yellow cheese all over its body really went well with the pale pink and dark brown. A good colour combo all over, really. I'd stay far away from this one, it would definitely want to tussle with you. Golurbox, the punch-on Pokemon, a psychic and fighting type. Golurbox will brawl with anything that moves, the larger the better, even to the detriment of Golurbox themselves. They create psychic barriers on their skulls to help protect against heavy blows, but alas, it doesn't work too well. Their legs are quite swift, capable of bounding quickly around, and keeping their tails bunched up for a quick getaway, or a calamitous headbutt if the battle gets too heated. Golurbox have a strange love for dairy, and some have even become the mascot Pokemon for various cheese manufacturers in Astara, many joking that their yellow patterning came about from eating too much of the substance. Golurbox has the ability Iron Fist. I also decided to take our new crash test dummy Pokemon out for a spin with Golurbox's new attack Psychic Straight. It's a 10 PP, 70 base power, 100 accuracy physical Psychic type move. The user bobs and weaves before unleashing a Psychic Blast of energy right into the enemy's center mass. This ability doesn't activate contact effects, and increases the power of this move the faster the user is. Alright, and with that, that's all the roll for Pokemon I have for this episode. Comment what you thought of the video and the Pokemon contained within, as well as chuck me a like and subscribe as a way to complete the roll for Pokemon ritual we started. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for an Astara video.